Welcome to Breedmanager by Moocall. I'm going to briefly show you how it works. At Breedmanager, rather than show you all of your information about your herd at any given time, we only show you relevant info. We call these smart lists, and they exist for calving, cycling, in heat, and inseminations. On the home screen, we show you a summary of all these smart lists. For example, you can quickly see how many cows or heifers you have in calf, who are cycling, or in heat, or inseminated at any given moment. So for example, if you're interested in your cows or heifers in calf, if you select the in calf smart list, you quickly see which cows or heifers are due in the next 7 days, which have calved in the last 90 days, or which are actually currently in calf. And when it comes to adding information to these animals, you simply swipe left to add a calving event, or you can swipe right to add your Moocall sensor to this animal. Swiping left adds a calving event to this animal. You simply select which bull you have used, when the calf was born, and add some simple information about the calving, which will be recorded in the app, and you can later look at this information. And that's how you add a calving. The same goes for cows or heifers that are cycling. If you select the cycling smart list, we display info to you straight off the bat which cows or heifers cycled 17 to 24 days ago, i.e. which are due to cycle again, which ones are due to cycle again. Swiping left on an animal gives you the opportunity to add an insemination event, and swiping right allows you to add a heat to that animal. If you want to see all cycling history, you can select that either, or if you want to see cows or heifers which cycled 2 cycles ago, we also feature them in this list here on the right. We also have a smart list for cows in heat. By default, we show you all heats in the last 24 hours, which easily allows you to add insemination information. You simply select the cow or heifer you have bred, choose whether it's one of your existing bulls or perhaps an AI bull that you've used in the past. You add that information, and then you will notice that that cow or heifer will now feature in your all inseminations list. We also keep data about every specific animal. So for example, if you were looking at a specific animal, for example, this one Blondie here, if you just select her, you'll move into the cow or heifer, profile page. You can see here, you can easily record her temperament, her age, her weights, and also notes. So for example, if she was given an antibiotic, you could easily add that in here today. We'll automatically add the date so that you can remember that for later. There's also a whole entire history. So every event that this animal, that happens to this animal, for example, inseminations, heats, and calving events or weights get added into this timeline so that later when you come back, you can see how she's progressing and the history of that animal. The same, if that animal eventually goes to the market, you can add that info in here as well. We also include a herd overview page where you can see on the top left there information about your entire herd, on the top right information about your breeding herd, so you can quickly see how many of them are in calf or inseminated or recently calved, so on. And this is also where you will find the rest of your cattle in your herd. So for example, if you want to see a list of all your breeding cattle, you can select it here. You can sort it by weight or by age. The same if you want to have a look at what bulls you have on site, or which calves or which beef cattle you have, and also historical animals live within the herd overview section. And finally, the statistics page here on the bottom right. In this page, we show you some information around your breeding, your calving, or your feeding. If we were looking at the breeding section at the top, for example, here we show you how many of your cows or heifers are in their first cycle since they've been inseminated, and how many are currently in their second cycle. So that gives you a good overview of where you're at. The same here with the percentage of your herd served. That's the percentage of animals that you've served since their last calving. And again, how many you have in heat in the last 12 hours. Down to calving here, we show you, the calving ease of your herd, and that depends on the information you give us when you add calvings. So we tally that up here, and we also highlight how many are due to calve in the next 7 days, and how many are over 50 days since they last calved. And finally, the feeding section, that'll populate if you add some information around your weights, and it'll also highlight how many beef animals are within the specific age brackets. To get started, you want to add some animals into your herd management app. To do that, you select the Add Animal button on the top right, which opens up this form, which is where you add an animal. First, write in her name if she has one, and then her tag number. Choose a date of birth. Select what breed that animal is. It takes a second to load. We have all breeds in here, but we put the most popular ones at the top. For example, a Limousin cow. You choose what type of animal you're adding, whether it's a cow, a heifer, a bull, or a calf. And then we ask you, at what stage of their life cycle is that animal. For example, here we're adding, an in-calf Limousin, and her due date, is September the 22nd, roughly a month from now. And then you click Save on the top right. And that's how you add an animal.